would like to thank our partners. Natation Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. The Government of Canada, le gouvernement du Canada. Speedo, your trusted swim partner from your first splash through every stroke. Speedo, votre partenaire de natation de confiance, de votre premier saut dans l'eau à chaque traction. Bell for better and all the ways it gives back to communities and sport across Canada. Mieux pour tous et toutes les façons dont Bell redonne aux communautés et au sport dans tout le Canada. Chicken Farmers of Canada, proud supporter and official protein of Swimming Canada. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers partisans et protéines officielles de Natation Canada.
Welcome back, everybody. We'll be getting underway in just a few minutes' time. We had a number of records broken yesterday on day number 1. Sebastian Asadi inside his Canadian para record for the S5, 100-meter freestyle. Hayden Kirk broke the meet record in the 1,500-meter freestyle. We also had a meet record in the 100-meter backstroke from Michigan State's Inbar Danziger. Oliver Dawson broke the meet record in the 50-meter breaststroke, just missed the national record in the 50-meter breaststroke. And in the women's 100-meter freestyle, we just have a meet record set by Delphine Pieter-Mercier from Neptune. Taylor Ruck broke her record in the 100-meter backstroke in the evening session after breaking it in the morning session.
Bonjour tout le monde, nous allons commencer bientôt, mais juste pour faire une récapitulation des records battus hier, Sébastien Messabi a battu son record canadien para du 100 mètres libre. Hayden Kirk a battu le record de la compétition dans le 1500 litres. Également, Delphine Piatera-Mercier a battu le record québécois senior, le record québécois groupe d'âge et le record de la compétition dans le 1500 free. Oliver Dawson a battu le record de la compétition dans le 50 brasses et Taylor Ruck a battu le record de la compétition dans le 100 mètres d'eau.
Our events this morning include the 400-meter freestyle for our para swimmers, 50-meter backstroke, 150 medley for our para athletes, 100-meter freestyle, 100-meter butterfly in our para category, 200-meter breaststroke, 50-meter breaststroke for para, 50-meter butterfly, 100-meter backstroke for para, before we finish off with our time final 800-meter freestyle.
Les épreuves du matin, le 400 mètres livre para, le 50 mètres d'eau, le 150 queue para, le 100 mètres libre, le 100 mètres papillon para, le 200 mètres brasse, le 50 mètres brasse para, le 50 mètres papillon, le 100 mètres d'eau para, avant de conclure avec les série du 800 mètres libre.
We're just about ready to get underway with our first event of the morning. It is going to be event number 307. This is a women's 400-meter freestyle for para-athletes. This will be heat number 1 of 1. Madam Referee.
And the swimmers are underway in lane 0 from Grande Prairie, Natalie Clark. Dans le couloir 1 de l'Université Laval, Ariel Bélanger. In lane 2 from the Saskatoon Laser, Shelby Newkirk. In lane 3 from Pacific Coast, Sophie Wood. In lane 4 from the Orangeville Otters, Alyssa Smythe. In lane 5 from the Pacific Seawolves, Mary Jibb. Dans le couloir 6 de l'Université Laval, Marianne Leroux. Dans le couloir 7 du Club aquatique Saint-Eustache, Lysandre Lepage. In lane 8 from the Barrie Trojan Swim Club, Alessa Darby. And in lane 9 from the Vernon Kokanee, Bria Duncan. Right now it's Mary Jibb leading the way from the Pacific Seawolves for the first 100 meters. This is Smythe beside her in lane number 5, right there as well, within 4/10 of a second. Sea time for Jibb down at 4:52.69. For Smythe, it's a 4:44.78. Smythe is swimming in the S13 category. Jibb competing as an S10. Just slightly ahead through the halfway point at 2:23.63, 7/10 of a second. Up on Alyssa Smythe, turning in third in lane number 3. Sophie Wood. She also swims as an S10 swimmer for UVic Pacific Coast. Coming in with a sea time of 5:16.20.
less than 75 meters to go. Mary Jib pacing pretty close to that C time of 4:52. Should be right on that time with a little more than 25 meters left to go. Smythe answering back here with just 15 meters left to go. Got herself up to Jib and now going by as we come to the flags and to the finish. Very close at the touch. It is by 16/100ths of a second. This is Smythe in 4:52.55, just ahead of Jib at 4:52.71. Top two finishers here in the women's pair 400-meter freestyle. To the wall third, Sophie Wood, a time of 5:30.06. We should have an event summary on the board momentarily before we get underway with our next event. And there we have it, summary for event number 307, women's 400-meter freestyle for our pair of swimmers. Top 10 advancing to the final, which will be all of our swimmers who swam this morning. As we move on to event number 308, this is the men's 400-meter freestyle for pair of swimmers. This will be heat number 1 of 1. Mr. Referee.
In lane 1 from the Regina Marlins, Leo Zhang. In lane 2 from Gorlin Horseshoe Aquatic Club, Charles Giamichelli. In lane 3 from Pickering, John Gillis. Dans le couloir 4 du Centre de Haute Performance Québec, Reed Maxwell. In lane 5 from Olympian Swimming, Ken Stroud. In lane 6 from Stettler Swim Club, David Bursick. Et dans le couloir 7 de Neptune Natation, Antoine Saint-Germain.
We've got Paralympic medalist Reed Maxwell out in front. Reed, a former local swimmer with the Edmonton Canal, now at the High Performance Center in Montreal. Maxwell out to a pretty strong first 200. 135 at the 150 meter mark. At 2:08.88. Paralympic world record. Time of 2:07.16. So strong outing by Maxwell here in the front 200 of this 4. Stroud from Olympian Swimming in lane number 5, taking over the lead now. Stroud seated at a time of 4:46.45. Turning at 300, 336.9 ahead of lane number 3, John Gillis. Stroud swimming as an S10. John Gillis is swimming in the S9 category. Last 50 meters here in that men's 400 meter freestyle. Crowd looking for a good finish here at 50 meters, 25 meters left to go. Should be in the 4:53, 4:52 range. Ken Stroud first to the wall, 4:52.23. Ahead of John Gillis back at 4:55.56. Top two finishers here in the men's pair of 400 meter freestyle. third from Stetler, David Bursick, time of 5:19.03. Event summary to follow in event number 308. On the board now, top qualifier on points, John Gillis Pickering. His time 4:55.56. Move down to the far end of the scoreboard end of the pool for our next event number 13. This is the women's 50-meter backstroke. We have 5 heats in this event. Heat number 1 of 5. Madam Referee.
And they're off for this first heat of the women's 50 backstroke. Top seed in this heat, Gabrielle Dubuc from the Minabichi Lassar. Tight heat as they come down to these last 5 meters. And it'll be Taylor Ferguson from Point Claire in lane 8 taking the heat in a time of 31:48. Swimmers, please clear the pool. We'll now turn our attention to heat 2. Madam Referee. Top seed in this second heat of the women's 50 backstroke, Abigail Ho from Swim Apex Aquatic Club. Another tight heat as they come down into these last 5 meters. Hannah Rutten will take it from Kisu Swim Club in a time of 31:21. Swimmers, please clear the pool. This third heat is the first of our circle seeded heats. Top seed is Lucy Weens from the Okotoks Mavericks Swimming. Solid lead for Lucy Weens as we come into the last 5 meters. And she will take the heat with a time of 29:55. Swimmers, please clear the pool.
And here we go with heat number 4. Your number 2 seed overall, Bridget Burton, is in lane number 4. She's seated with a time of 28.78. Just a few tenths of a second off of the winning time from last year's event at 28:18. That's Ingrid Wilm. We'll see her coming up in our final heat. Burton on the podium last night in the 100-meter backstroke. Looks strong in lane number 4, 29.55. Our fastest time so far this morning, done in the previous heat. And this one goes to lane number 5, Helena Monrichard, a time of 29.49, winning heat number 4. Swimmers, you may clear the pool.
This is your final heat of the women's 50 backstroke featuring Ingrid Wilm, who is the Canadian Open record holder in a time of 27:75. So let's keep an eye on the clock because that might be a record that goes down. In this heat this morning, she was the silver medalist in the 100 backstroke last night, looking very strong and having a comfortable lead over the rest of the field as she comes into the last 5 meters. And Ingrid Wilm will take it in a time of 28:64. Swimmers, please clear the pool.
Coming up next, we'll have that event summary. And here it is. Top qualifier going into tonight's final, Ingrid Wilm, 28.64. Looks like 30.37. We'll get into the A final. We do have a tie, so we have a swim off coming up in the 50-meter backstroke, and 31.02 gets you into the B final. results for event number 13, the women's 50-meter backstroke. Once again, we will be looking, I think, to have a swim off to determine that 10th and final place in the 50-meter backstroke. As we move on to our next event, event 14, the men's 50-meter backstroke. Once again, we have 5 heats in this event. This will be heat number 1 of 5. Mr. Referee.
And they're off in this first heat of the men's 50-meter backstroke. Top seed is Maximilian Zhao from the Saskatoon Laser Swim Club. Canadian Open record in this event is held by Finley Knox in a time of 25:47 from the first Canadian Open that we had in Toronto in 2024.
Attention coaches and teams, if we get a representative from both Killarney and the West Van Otters to the administration desk regarding a swim off. Once again, a representative from Killarney and the West Van Otters to the administration desk regarding a swim off.
Swimmers, please clear the pool. Dans le couloir 4 de Dorval Swim Club, Maurizio Mercuri a le temps le plus rapide de entry dans un temps de petit bassin de 26:88. Tight race in the last 5 meters. It will be at the wall Tian Zhangfu in a time of 28:28. Swimmers, please clear the pool.
And heat number 3 is off. Javier Acevedo, Canadian record holder in this event, swimming in lane number 4. He's also a 3-time Olympian, 2016, 2020, and the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Our record stands at 24.90. Our meet record, 25:47, set 2 years ago by Finley Knox. Acevedo looks strong as he comes to the finish in 4, 25:87, just over that meet record. Winning heat number 3. Attention coaches, swimmers, and teams. We do have disqualification from event number 13. Heat number 1, lane 8, has been disqualified. Once again, event 13, heat 1, lane 8, has been disqualified.
Some big names in this second of your circle seated heat. Rabin Doman from the UBC Thunderbirds was the fastest entry time. He recently competed at the U Sports Championships for UBC. And Inbar Danziger from the University of Michigan, he broke the competition record in the 100 backstroke last night. Both of them neck and neck as they come into the last 5 meters of this 50 backstroke. And at the wall, it'll be Rabin Doman in a time of 26:01. Swimmers, please clear the pool. This is your final heat of the men's 50 backstroke. Top 2 swimmers, both from Cascade Swim Club, Parker DeHaze and Cole Pratt. Tight race, Parker DeHaze pulling ahead slightly of the rest of the field as we come into the last 5 meters. And it will be DeHaze in a time of 26:03. Swimmers, please clear the pool.
We have another disqualification to announce from event number 13. This is the women's 50-meter backstroke. Event 13, heat 4, lane number 5 has been disqualified. Once again, event 13, heat 4, lane 5 has been disqualified. Event summary on the board now. Our top qualifier, Javier Acevedo, 25.87, 27.29, gets into the A final. And 28.18 qualify for our B final, the men's 50-meter backstroke. Stay down at the scoreboard end of the pool for our next event, which is event number 309. It's the women's 150 medley for our para swimmers. It'll be heat number 1 of 1. Madam Referee.
In this heat of the women's 150 medley para in lane 4 from the Royal City Aquatic Club, we have Jordan Tucker. And in lane 5 from Whitby Swimming, we have Ali Van Wicksmart. Both swimmers neck and neck as we come into the last few meters of this backstroke leg of the women's para 150 medley. Jordan Tucker in lane 4 pulling ahead in this breaststroke leg.
On to our last 50 meters of freestyle in this 150 medley. Tucker, the race leader, swims the S4 category. Canadian record in this event set by Joël Rivard in 1996, one of the older records on the books, time of 3:27.45. The S3 category that Van Wyck Smart is competing in. The Canadian record is set by Nikita Enns from the Saskatoon Lasers, time of 4:19.31. Lane number 4, Jordan Tucker first to the wall. Time of 3:49.90, just a few seconds off of her seed time. We have disqualification to announce from our previous event, event number 14. Heat 5, lane number 9 has been disqualified. Once again, event 14, which is the men's 50-meter backstroke, Heat 5, lane 9 has been disqualified. Allie Van Wyck Smart finishing at 4:24.31, just 5/100ths of a second over seed time. Event summary on the board for event number 309. And event number 310 next, which is the men's para 150 medley.
Étienne Boutin-Côté du Club de natation Région Québec dans le couloir 4 de cette épreuve du 150 cueillis para. Un nageur de la catégorie S4, le record canadien dans cette catégorie est détenue par Sébastien Massabi dans un temps de 2:59.97, qui a été établi à Toronto en 2024. Après le premier 50 mètres et la manche du dos, Étienne Boutin-Côté a fait son virage dans un temps de 1,9,51. Son temps de qualification de 3,34,61 en bassin long va être son temps à battre pour ce matin. À 5 mètres du mur de la manche de brasse, Étienne Boutin-Côté continue son 100 mètres cuigné et il tourne dans un temps de 2,38,8. Plus que 10 mètres pour Étienne Boutin-Côté dans son 150 cuigné para. Et il va finir l'épreuve dans un temps de 3,44,73.
Event summary results on the board for event number 310, the 150 medley for the men para. Ready for our next event. It's event number 15. This is the women's 100-meter freestyle. We'll have 5 heats in this event. The heat number 1 of 5. Mr. Referee.
And they're off for the women's 100-meter freestyle. Your top seed for this first heat, Emiliana Gonzalez from Rutgers University, in a time of 59.86. Coming into the wall, Scarlett Vandervoren from Cobra Swimming will be leading in a time of 28.46, but it's a tight race with all the other swimmers close behind. It's looking like lane 5 solidly ahead as we come into the last 10 meters, but Emiliana Gonzalez will be making a play at the end, and it looks like lane 0 coming in quite quickly in the last 5 meters, but it'll be Scarlett Vandervoren in first with a time of 59.42. Swimmers, please clear the pool. And we're off with your second heat of the women's 100 freestyle. Top seed in this heat, Maëlie Michaud from the Pointe Claire Swim Club in a time of 59:21. But a really close heat. Most of the swimmers, all of the swimmers in this heat, under the 1 minute mark. Should be a good race as they come into the wall. It's going to be Grace Wharton, who will be flipping first in a time of 28:02. Grace Wharton looking good coming into the last 5 meters, and she will take this heat in a time of 59:24, followed closely by Kaya Hornby in a time of 59:30. And they're off for your third heat of the women's 100 freestyle. This is your first circle-seated heat. Bella Sims, the top seed from Michigan University, with a time of 54:52. Bella Sims, American Olympian in Paris 2024, flips first. No, Ranumi Eswaraj flips first in a time of 26:85. Very, very fast first 50, followed closely by Bella Sims in 57:04. Coming into the last 10 meters, Bella Sims has taken the lead over Wanumi Esrawaj, who is sprinting these last 5 meters into the wall. But it will be Bella Sims in a time of 56:03 to take our third heat of the 100-meter freestyle. This is the fourth heat, second circle-seated heat of our women's 100-meter freestyle. This is a heat filled with Canadian Olympians: Brooklyn Douthright in lane 4, Ingrid Rillman lane 5, and Emma O'Croynan in lane 3. We're all on the Canadian Paris 2024 Olympic team. Brooklyn Douthright flipping first in a time of 27:11, followed closely by O'Croynan and Wilm. Summer McIntosh, the Canadian Open record holder in this event, was set in Toronto in time of 53:90. O'Croynan coming up on Brooklyn in these last 5 meters, but Brooklyn will comfortably take the 100-meter freestyle fourth heat in a time of 56:24.
Go on the final heat of the 100-meter freestyle. The winner of the event last year, swimming in lane number 4, Taylor Ruck. She won this event here at the Canadian Open at a time of 55:16. As we mentioned, the Open record set by Summer McIntosh, a time of 53:90 in 2024. Ruck, the record breaker yesterday in the 100-meter backstroke. She did it twice. She's out 26.13 through the first 50 meters. That's the fastest first 50 that we've seen so far this morning in this 100-meter freestyle event. 56.0, our fastest time this morning. As Ruck looks strong ahead of Leah Tegart, swimming in lane number 5 from the Toronto Swim Club. And then Ella Jansen, the winner of the 200-meter freestyle last night, she's sitting in 3rd in lane number 5 as we come to the finish. And it is Ruck looking strong in lane number 4 to win our final heat, 54.45. That is faster than she went last year. It's faster than the pool record. That stood since 2018. That was a 54.75 by Penny Alexiak at the National Championships. Will be the fastest time this morning. Taylor Ruck in the 100-meter freestyle, 54.45. Result summary on the board. Top qualifier is Ruck. New pool record of 54.45. 56.94 gets you into our A final. And a time of 58.78 will get you into our B final.
Avis de disqualification, épreuve 110, série 1, couloir 4. Avis de disqualification, épreuve 110, série 1, couloir 4.
Moving on to our next event, event number 16. This is the men's 100-meter freestyle. We have 5 heats in this event. Here we go with heat number 1 of 5, Mr. Referee.
And they're off for our first heat. Top seed in this heat from the Pacific Seawolves, Matthew Cow, with an entry time of 53.11. Tight heat as they come into the wall here at the 50-meter mark. It'll be Jordan Henrico in a time of 25.36, who will be first at the wall. Tight race across the pool as swimmers trying to make their move in these last 10 meters. And it'll be Matthew Cow who will take it in a time of 53.55. Rabin Doman, your top seed in the second heat of the 100-meter freestyle from the UBC Thunderbirds. He's entered in a 50.64 short course time. Competed earlier in the 50-meter backstroke. Will flip first in a time of 25.27 at the wall. Almost 25s across the board here at the first 50-meter, at the 50-meter mark. Very, very close race. Rabin Doman making a move here as we get to the last 5 meters. And he will take this heat in a time of 52.22.
It's the first of our last 3 circle-seated heats. Good start by lane number 5, Finlay Knox. He was third in the 200-meter event last night. Daniel Krzyzewski, swimming unattached in lane number 4, was second in the 200-meter freestyle. He's the top seed in this third heat. 48.88 is his entry time. And Krzyzewski goes through that first 50 out pretty solid, 23.32. 0.6 of a second up on Knox, swimming in lane number 5. We've got third as Blake Tierney. He was second place last night in the 100-meter backstroke event. Meet record is a 48.90 set 2 years ago by Yuri Hrubar. And pool record of 49.14 goes down this morning. Daniel Krzyzewski, 48.93. Just 3/100ths of a second over the meet record, but a new pool record. Finlay Knox in next, under 50 seconds as well at 49.85.
And your fourth heat of the men's 100-meter freestyle, our second circle-seated heat is off. Top time in this heat, Ole Edham from the University of Michigan in a time of 48.80. Also featuring Lau Kim, who is our Canadian 13-14 age group record holder in lane 5, and Eric Ginsberg, who competed at the U Sports Swimming Championships in lane 3. At the wall, it'll be Ole Edham in first with a time of 23.47, followed closely behind by Lau Kim, 23.85. Edham solidly in the lead as we come into the last 5 meters, and he will take this 100 free in a time of 49.49. Voici la dernière série du 100 mètres libre. Dans le couloir 4, Antoine Sauvé du Club Aquatique Montréal. Il a gagné le 200 mètres libre hier soir et a été membre de l'équipe nationale de l'été dernière, accompagné de plusieurs coéquipiers de l'équipe nationale canadienne, Cole Pratt, Yuri Kessel et Javier Acevedo. Sauvé tourne premier aux 50 mètres dans un temps de 23,91 et se démarque ici dans les derniers 25 mètres. Mais Yuri Kissel reste très proche de lui dans les derniers 10 mètres ici. Kissel qui a nagé au U-Sport récemment. Mais ça va être Antoine Sauvé dans un temps de 49,40 qui va prendre la dernière série du 100 mètres libre.
Here we go, the event summary. Daniel Krzyzewski, pool record of 48.93 will be our top qualifier. 51.60 gets you into our A final. A time of 52.29 will get our swimmers into the B final. Time now for our next event, event number 311. This is the women's 100-meter butterfly. have a short technical delay here while we tighten up a few of our lane ropes before we get underway. Go with event number 311.
And they're off for Heat 1 of the women's para 100-meter butterfly. In lane 1 from the Northwest Narwhals, Zoe Horgard. In lane 2 from the Brock Niagara Aquatics, Emma Van Dyke. In lane 3 from the Pacific Sea Wolves, Mary Jibb. In lane 4 from the Orangeville Otters, Alyssa Smythe. Dans le couloir 5 de l'Université Laval, Marianne Leroux. In lane 6 from the Okotoks Mavericks, Tiana Asala. In lane 7 from Pacific Coast Swimming, Sophie Wood. And in lane 8 from the Barrie Trojan Swim Club, Kate Smith. At the 50-meter mark, it'll be Tiana Asala in lane 1 in a time of 32:32. Making a move in lane 4, Alyssa Smythe in the last 10 meters here. Coming into the wall, she will touch first in a time of 1:12:38.
And result summary next for event number 311, 100-meter fly. And there we go, a list of qualifiers for tonight's final, event number 311, a pair of multi-class 100-meter butterfly event. Our next event is event number 312. And there will be one heat of the men's 100-meter butterfly for our para swimmers.
And they're off for this Heat 1 of the men's para 100-meter butterfly. In lane 2, we have Guillaume Jacob Caillé du Club de Natation Mont-Laurier. In lane 3, Hunter Hellberg from the Fort McMurray Swim Club. Dans le couloir 4 du Centre de haute performance Québec, Nicholas Bennett. Dans le couloir 5 de McGill, Jagdev Gill. In lane 6 from Kisu, Cameron Chambers. And in lane 7 from Pickering Swim Club, John Gillis. Nicholas Bennett will flip first in a time of 28:31, followed closely behind by Jagdev Gill in 28:53. Bennett coming in first to the wall in his last 5 meters will touch in a time of 1:00:11. Gill touching the wall in 1:02:27.
And there we are, the event summary for event number 312, the para 100-meter butterfly for our men. Qualifiers listed. We move on to event number 17 now. This is the women's 200-meter breaststroke. We have 3 heats in this event. Heat number 1 of 3, Mr. Referee.
And we're off in this first heat of the women's 200-meter breaststroke. Kaya Dimitri of Kisu Swim Club is the top seed in lane 4 in a time of 2:32:26. Canadian Swimming Open record held by Kelsey Wog was set in Toronto in 2024 in a time of 2:24:91. At the wall, it'll be Isabel Angeloni turning first in a time of 36:32.
Attention coaches, if we can get a representative from Killarney and the Kingston Blue Marlins to the administration desk regarding a swim-off. Once again, a coaching representative from Killarney and the Kingston Blue Marlins to the administration desk regarding a swim-off in the 50-meter backstroke for the women.
At the 150-meter mark, it'll be Marley Monson in a time of 1:57:18, followed by Kaya Dimitri in 1:59:56. Monson, last 25 meters, almost 2 body lengths ahead of the field. The Grand Prairie Piranha swimmer will be touching in 1:36:87 to finish first in this first heat of the women's 200 breaststroke.
Here we go with our second heat in the 200-meter breaststroke for the women. And number 4, Alexandre Lepage. She is the second seed overall in this event. She won the 50-meter breaststroke last night. Time 31.94. Medalist at the World Short Course Championships in 2024 is Lepage. Part of Canada's team last summer at the 2025 Singapore World Championships. She's out in front of the first 50 meters, 34.81. Camilla Blanchard turns just 1/100th of a second back for Point Claire. Blanchard is entered in a time of 2:33.70. We saw 2:36 out of heat 1 by Marley Monson from the Grand Prairie Piranhas. And Blanchard with a slight advantage over Lepage as they come to the halfway point. Blanchard first at the 100, 1:14.72, 0.3 of a second up on Lepage. Turning in third, Leah Teggart from the Toronto Swim Club. Trying her hand at the breaststroke events. Don't see her that often swimming these races, but doing a great job sitting in the top 3 right now in our second heat. And Blanchard doing a good job in lane number 5, extending her lead on Lepage as they come up to the 150-meter mark. See what Lepage has got left in the tank as they come to the last wall, splitting 155.3, 156.2 for Lepage. She's back by 0.9 of a second. Does have a sea time down at 2:25.91. Blanchard still out in front with just a little bit more than 15 meters left to go in our second heat of the women's 200-meter breaststroke. And Lepage starting to make a late charge in lane number 4. We'll see how close she can get to Blanchard as they come to the finish. Heat number 2, that goes to Camilla Blanchard in a time of 2:36.80. 4/10 back is Lepage in a 2:37.21. Top 2 swimmers here in our second heat of the 200-meter breaststroke for the women.
And our final heat is off heat 3 of the women's 200-meter breaststroke. Paris 2024 Olympian Sophie Angus in this heat with the top seed from the High Performance Center Ontario in 2:24.84. Looking comfortably in the lead as she comes into the wall here in a time of 33.52. Kelsey Wog, the Canadian Swim Open record holder in this event in a time of 2:24.91. Sophie Angus's entry time just under that record time set in Toronto in 2024. Canadian record in this event, Anna Mae Pierce, 2:20.12 from set in Rome, Italy in 2009. Angus at the wall, turning first in a 1:11.10. Followed by Maëlle Sanborn and Alexandra Lino. Tight race for second and third now with Sophie Angus solidly in the lead, almost 3 body lengths ahead of the rest of the competition. she comes into the wall at the 150 mark. She'll turn in a time of 1:52.93. Angus keeping her stroke long and taking her time to glide as she comes into these last 10 meters. She will take this last heat of the women's 200-meter breaststroke in a time of 2:37.24.
Result summary to follow next for event number 17, the women's 200-meter breaststroke. There we are, top qualifier, Camilla Blanchard, a time of 2:36.80, 2:42.81. Gets you into our A final of the 200-meter breaststroke. Well, a time of 2:48.18 qualifies the swimmers for the B final. We have swim off coming up prior to the women's 800-meter freestyle and the 50-meter backstroke. Once again, there will be a swim off in the 50-meter backstroke prior to event number 21, which is the women's 800-meter freestyle. Up next, event number 18, the 200-meter breaststroke for the men. This will be heat number 1 of 3, Mr. Referee.
Benjamin Sescon from Crest Swimming. In your top swimmer in this heat in lane 4 in a time of 2:15.33. At the wall, he'll turn first in a time of 30.81. The Canadian age group record for 15 to 17-year-olds is a 2:10.32 held by Oliver Dawson. Sescon about entry time about 5 seconds off of this mark. Let's see if he could improve and perhaps challenge that record. About a body length ahead of the field here coming into the 100-meter mark. He will flip in a 1:06.04. Still solidly in the lead, Sescon will turn at 1:42.82 at the 150 mark. Less than a 50 to go here in our first heat of the men's 200-meter breaststroke. Last 5 meters, it'll be Sescon in a time of, light touch. Elias Soltani will touch in a 2:22.35 and Sescon 2:20.09.
Attention coaches, swimmers, and teams. It's qualification to announce from event number 17. Event 17, heat 3, lane 3 has been disqualified. Once again, event 17, which is the women's 200-meter breaststroke, heat 3, lane 3 has been disqualified.
Apollo Hess, your top seed in the second heat of the men's 200 breaststroke, another 2024 Paris Olympian from the High Performance Center, Ontario, with an entry time of 2:14.26. Coming into the wall, it's a close race between Hess in lane 4 and Kit Kong from the Markham Aquatic Club in lane 5. Kong will be touching first in a 1:08.59, followed closely behind by Bennett Thiessen from the Calgary Cascade Swim Club in a 1:08.74. Hess currently sitting in third. Kong still in first at the 150 mark in a 1:45.18. Followed by Thiessen in a 1:46.05. Hess trying to make a move here in the last 25 meters. Showing a bit of that sprint breaststroke speed ability as he passes Kong to take the win in this second heat of the men's 200 breaststroke in a time of 2:20.70.
Going on third and final heat of the 200-meter breaststroke for the men. Oliver Dawson, winner last night of the 50-meter breaststroke. He's their top seed swimming in lane number 4 for the Grand Prairie Piranhas. Broke his national age group mark in this event a number of times last year, including in the heats of the World Championships, followed by the semifinals. Swam a time of 2:10.32. Up front 29.42 through that first 50 meters. Actually right on his lifetime best pace within 7/100ths. Last night he just missed the Canadian record by 1/100th of a second in the 50-meter breaststroke. Swimming a time down at 27:46. And looking long and strong and great form here is Dawson in lane number 4. See where he's at the 100. His Canadian record split time as an age grouper with a 103.30, 102.88 here at the 100-meter mark. 1/10 of a second underneath that. Turning in second is Tanner Cole, swimming in lane number 5 from the UBC Thunderbirds. Followed by lane number 3, Arthur Giuliano. Looking for Napia Canada. And Dawson looking pretty relaxed here now through the back half of the race after a strong outing at 102.88 for the first 100 meters. .38.9 through the 150-meter mark. The Canadian Swimming Open meet record is a time of 2:13.26 set by Jordan Willis. It was done at the meet in Toronto in 2024. See how much Dawson pushes himself here over this last 15 meters and how close he'll get to that. He did win the event last year at this meet in time of 2:14.87. Should be very close to that, if not close to the record, and it is 2:12.82. Picking it up on that last 50 down to 33.9 after swimming very relaxed on number 3. Breaking the meet record by 0.4 of a second. He is just over the pool record, and that was set by world record holder Mike Barrowman back in 1991, a time of 2:11.96. Swimmers, please clear the pool. We have an event summary coming up next for the 200-meter breaststroke for the men. Turn our attention down to the scoreboard end. Next event coming up. And there it is, top qualifier. New Canadian Swimming Open record of 2:12.82. Oliver Dawson qualifying in 10th, time of 2:27.51 into our A final. And a time of 2:37.87 qualifies for the B final. Here we go now, our next event, starting at the scoreboard event number 313. It's the 50-meter breaststroke for the women and our para multi-class swimmers.
Ali Van Wixmart in lane 4 for Whitby Swimming with an entry time of 1:40.42. The Canadian para record in this event is held by Nikita Enns from the Saskatoon Lasers, which was broken in Melbourne, Australia in 2023 in a time of 1:35.37. At the 25-meter mark in about 50 seconds, looking right on pace to hit her entry time of 1:40.42. we come into the last 5 meters here for Ali Van Wixmart. She will touch the wall in a time of 1:47.82.
Our event summary for the 50-meter breaststroke for our women in the para multi-class. Next event is going to be event number 314. This is the men's 50-meter breaststroke para multi-class. It'll be heat number 1 of 1. Madam Referee.
Dans le couloir 4 de cette épreuve 314, le 50 mètres brasse para, c'est Étienne Boutin-Côté du Club de natation Région Québec, avec un temps de qualification de 1:12:15. Le record para-canadien pour les S3 et Jonathan Delman des rapides, qui a été établi à Rio de Janeiro, Brésil, en 2016, dans un temps de 50:08. Boutin-Côté dans les derniers 10 mètres ici. Il va toucher le mur dans un temps de 1:19:34.
There it is, the results for event 314, the 50-meter breaststroke. Keep with our events starting at the big scoreboard end of the pool as we move on to event number 19. This is the women's 50-meter butterfly. We'll have 4 heats in this event. Number 1 of 4 up, Madam Referee.
And they're off for this first heat of the women's 50-meter butterfly. Kaya Hornby of the Toronto Swim Club has the fastest entry time in lane 4 with a time of 2:29:36. But it's looking like it's going to be Ella Jansen in lane 7 from the Etobicoke Swim Club, who's entered with no time, but we all know who she is, a Canadian Olympian, will touch the wall in first in a 27:28.
Swimmers are going to clear the pool.
And this is the first circle-seated heat of the women's 50 fly. Ingrid Wilm of the Cascade Swim Club, your top seed here in a time of 26:90. backstroke specialist, but she does swim a little bit of everything as we come into the last 10 meters here. Looking like a good race across the pool. It's going to be Wilm in a time of 27:99.
Swimmers again clear the pool. Go with our third heat. The meet record holder swimming in lane number 4, Mateja Gigovic from the Killarney Swim Club. 17-year-old swam 26:87 last year, winning this event. It's also the pool record. And Gigovic out in front in lane and number 4, being challenged by Brooklyn Dothright in lane number 2 as they come to the finish. It's going to be Gigovic in 4, though, a time of 27:32, winning heat number 3. Swimmers may clear the pool.
This is our fourth and final heat of the women's 50 butterfly. Your top seed here, Taylor Ruck from the High Performance Center, Vancouver, with an entry time of 25:71. Looking solid in front. Second, Helena Tripp from the Kingston Blue Marlins. Ruck will touch first in a 26:29. A new Canadian Swim Open record for Taylor Ruck in lane 4. Swimmers, please clear the pool.
There we go, the event summary. Taylor Ruck, top qualifier. That is a pool and Canadian Swimming Open meet record, 26:29. 28:26 qualifies for our A final. And 28:88 will get our swimmers into the B final. Next event up is event number 20. This is the men's 50-meter butterfly. We have just 3 heats in this event. This will be heat number 1 of 3. Mr. Referee.
They're off for this first heat of the men's 50-meter butterfly. Eric Ginsberg, your top seed in lane 4 from the Ramac Aquatic Club, in a time of 23:76. He holds the Canadian Swim Open record set last year in a time of 24:03. Let's see if he can challenge his record here. Just off, but he wins the heat in a time of 24:19.
Swimmers may clear the pool.
In this second heat, Finley Knox, your top qualifier from the Okotoks Mavericks. His entry time 23:70.57. Knox looking solidly in the lead as we come into these last 5 meters here. And Knox will win it in a time of 24:17.
Swimmers may clear the pool.
Your top seed in this heat, Ole Adam from the University of Michigan. His entry time at 23:24. About a body length over his competitors as he comes in here in the last 5 meters. He will win this heat in 23:66. That is a new Canadian Open swim record.
There we go, the event summary, a new meet and pool record by German national Ole Idem, 23:66, 25:74 qualifies for the A final. On a time of 26:38 qualifies for our B final. Coming up next, we'll have the 100-meter backstroke for our women in the para category. This will be event number 315. We have 2 heats in this event. This will be heat number 1 of 2. Madam Referee.
And we're off for the women's para 100-meter backstroke. In lane 1 from the Barrie Trojan Swim Club, Alessa Darby. In lane 2 from the Virgin Kokanee Swim Club, Bria Duncan. Dans le couloir 3 des Riverains, Anne-Frédérique Brisson. In lane 4 from the Royal City Aquatic Club, Ruby Stevens. Dans le couloir 5 de Cowansville, Juliane Pagé. Dans le couloir 6 de l'Université Laval, Ariel Bélanger. In lane 7 from the Grand Prairie Piranhas, Natalie Clark. And in lane 8 from the Edmonton Keano Swim Club, Ivy DeDuke. After the first 50 meters, Ruby Stevens in the lead in a time of 46:32, suivi de Juliane Pagé dans un temps de 50:45. Ruby Stevens at the last 5 meters here will be touching the wall first for this 100-meter backstroke para multi-class in a time of 1:34.77. And they're off for the second heat of the 100 backstroke para multi-class event. In lane 0, from the Northwestern Narwhals, we have Zoe Hogard. In lane 1, from the Barrie Trojan Swim Club, Kate Smith. In lane 2, from the Saskatoon Lasers, Shelby Newkirk. In lane 3, from Pacific Coast Swimming, we have Sophie Wood. In lane 4, from the Brock Niagara Aquatics, Emma Van Dyke. In lane 5, from the Pacific Sea Wolves, Mary Jibb. In lane 6, from the Prince Albert Sharks, Ali Diel. Dans le couloir 7 du Club de natation bleu et or, Danielle Doris. In lane 8, from the Saskatoon Lasers, Catherine McCurk. Et dans le couloir 9 du Club aquatique Saint-Eustache, Lysandre Lepage. And after the first 50, Mary Jibb is in the lead in a time of 35:31, followed by Emma Van Dyke in a 37:36. Under the flags here in the last 5 meters, it will be Jibb in a time of 1:13.90. Van Dyke finishes second in a time of 1:17.05.
Event summary coming next for event number 315, the para 100-meter backstroke for the women. And there we have it, top 10 swimmers advancing to tonight's final. Next will be event number 316. This is the men's 100-meter backstroke for our para swimmers. Just a reminder that we do have a swim-off in the 50-meter backstroke for the women following this race before we get underway with our 800-meter freestyle events.
This is heat 1 of the 100 backstroke para multi-class. In lane 0, from the Golden Horseshoe Aquatic Club, Charles Giamichelli. His teammate, also from Golden Horseshoe, Antonio Fricano, in lane 1. In lane 2, from the Fort McMurray Swim Club, we have Hunter Hellberg. In lane 3, from the Stettler Swim Club, David Bursick. In lane 4, from Kisu, Cameron Chambers. Dans le couloir 5 du Centre de haute performance Québec, Reed Maxwell. In lane 6, from Olympian Swimming, Ken Stroud. Dans le couloir 7 du Club de natation Mont-Laurier, Guillaume Jacob-Caillé. Dans le couloir 8 de Neptune Natation, Antoine Saint-Germain. Et dans le couloir 9 du Centre de haute performance Québec, Tyson Jacob. After the first 50 meters, it'll be Cameron Chambers in lane 4 with the lead in a time of 33:32. The Kisu swimmer solidly in the lead as he is under the flags for the last 5 meters. He will touch the wall first in 1:09.94. Just a reminder, we will be swimming the swim off for the women's 50-meter backstroke before the first heat of the women's 800-meter freestyle. So ladies, please rest. No need to be up by the blocks right now. They will be swimming the 50-meter backstroke first.
We just had the results summary for the 100-meter backstroke for the para men, but we're moving on to the swim-off for the women's 50-meter backstroke. Starting down again at the large scoreboard end of the pool. Madam Referee.
This is your swim off for the women's 50 backstroke. In lane 4 from the Killarney Swim Club, we have Sophie Holloway-Chuck, and in lane 5 from the Kingston Blue Marlins, Helena Tripp. Both swimmers swam 30.37 this morning in their 50 back.
So they were qualified for 10th place together. So the winner of this swim-off will advance into the A final tonight. And it does look like we did have a light touch in lane 4. We'll wait and see if we get those final times up on the board. Helena Tripp in lane number 5, 29.95, 5/100ths of a second ahead of Walchuk here in the swim-off in the 50-meter backstroke for our girls.
Both swimmers under the time that they swam in prelims. Both will be able to have a chance to swim again tonight. This was a swim off for who will be 10th and who will be 11th.
Moving on to our next event, which is event number 21. It's the women's 800-meter freestyle. Heat number 1 will be swimming tonight in our final session. This will be heat number 2. Madam Referee. Full heat here in heat number 2. Lane 0 is Mila Chernenkov from Pacific Coast. Lane number 1, Shane Bowie from Edmonton, Canada. Lane number 2 from Neptune, Delphine Piatera Mercier. Lane number 3 from University of Calgary, Lauren Miller. Lane number 4, her teammate Megan Sutherland. Lane number 5 from Island Swimming, Kaya Weaver. Lane 6 from Vancouver Pacific, King Chang. Lane number 7 from Edmonton, Canada, Elise Cook. Lane number 8, Point Claire, is Claudia Bully. And in lane number 9 from the Edmonton Canada Swim Club, Ruth Jaskowicz. The record in this event was set last year by Tori McClensick, a time of 8:53.71. The pool record in this event goes all the way back to the Commonwealth Games in 1978. Tracy Wickham, Australia, swam 8:24.62. And Neptune's Delphine Pieter-Mercier in lane number 2 at it again. She broke the meet record in the 1500-meter freestyle last night. Pretty strong through 250 meters, 242.57. Her seat time is a 9:15.78. Right now she's pacing around 9 minutes, so it'll be a good drop from that entry time. She can hold on to this pacing as she comes to the 300-meter mark. Almost 15 meters up on the field. Returning here a time of 3:17.01. Just a reminder to all of our coaches and teams that the scratch deadline is going to be 12 p.m. today into the administration desk. Once again, scratch deadline 12 p.m. into the administration desk.
Attention à tous les entraîneurs. Un rappel que le temps limite pour les forfaits est à midi. Donc, dans 28 minutes, vous avez 28 minutes jusqu'à midi pour faire vos forfaits pour la session des finales ce soir. Merci. Delphine Pieter-Mercier se démarque en ce moment. Elle a battu le record senior québécois hier et elle a battu le record de l'Omnium canadien par presque 24 secondes dans son 1500. Un rappel que pour le 800 et le 1500, c'est nager finale directe. Donc son temps de ce matin va être comparé au temps de la finale ce soir. Donc elle va vraiment essayer de se démarquer et poster un temps qui va être compétitif contre les filles qui vont nager ce soir. Après 400 mètres, elle est première avec un temps de 4:25.32. Et elle a presque 25 mètres d'avance sur le reste de ses compétiteurs. À 450 mètres, à son virage, elle est juste en bas de 5 minutes avec un temps de 4:59.86. Delphine Pieter-Mercier de Neptune Natation, une nageuse de 17 ans qui se démarque au Québec dans les disciplines de distance. Le record de l'Omnium canadien est détenu par Tori McClensick, qui a battu le record l'année passée à Edmonton dans un temps de 8:53.71. Un temps très, très rapide à battre. Delphine Pieter-Mercier pourrait aller essayer de chercher ce record. Le record canadien, par contre, détenu par Summer McIntosh avec un temps de 8:05.07 qu'elle a fait à Victoria aux essais l'année passée. Ça va être un peu plus difficile à aller chercher, je pense. Mais après 550 mètres, Pieter-Mercier est toujours en avance avec un temps de 6:08.58. En deuxième position, Megan Sutherland from the University of Calgary Swim Club in second. After 550 meters in a time of 6:24.99. Et Pieter-Mercier Fait son virage pour 600 mètres à 6:43:08. Il ne lui reste que 200 mètres. À 650 mètres, il est à 7:17:25. Puis à terre Mercier toujours d'avance. Plus de 25 mètres devant tout le reste de ses compétiteurs. Les officiels s'avancent avec les cloches pour lui montrer qu'il lui reste que, pour lui signaler qu'il lui reste que 100 mètres. « 7:51:64.
Delphine Pierre Mercier pacing just at around 9 minutes. Just going to need a little bit more out of herself for those last two 50s. By the way, it's going to be a big drop as she's coming in with a seat time. 17-year-old from Neptune National at 9:15:78. Look to see if she is at 8:25 or faster, 8:25:6. So she needs 34:3 or better on this last 50 to crack that 9-minute mark.
Plus que 10 mètres pour Delphine Piatera-Mercier. Et elle va rentrer en dessous de la marque de 9 minutes avec un temps de 8:58:27. Ça va être le temps à battre pour les nageuses de ce soir.
Are alternating our women's 800 followed by our men's 800. So coming up next will be heat number 2 of the men's 800 meter freestyle. Heat number 1 swimming tonight in our final session. Next will be event number 22, heat number 2. We're alternating between our women and our men. And here we are, Madam Referee. Swimmers in the water in our heat number 2 of the 800-meter freestyle for the men. Swimming in lane number 0, Jacob Askey. Out of area Tallahassee Aquatic Club. Lane number 1, Diego Paz from Edmonton Cano. Lane 2 is Griffin Seguin from Barrie Trojan. Lane 3, Noah Weaver from Island Swimming. Lane number 4, Mehmet Deniz Capraz from Nepean, Canada. Lane 5, Kipton Feineman from Tallahassee. Lane 6, Marcus Venditti from Point Claire. Lane number 7, Julio Janiz from Island Swimming. Lane 8, Chase Saxon from Island Swimming. Lane number 9, Matthew Marcella from the Guelph Marlin Aquatic Club. Marcus Venditti from Point Claire out in front of the 200-meter mark at 2:02.31. Venditti's seat time 8:33.50. The record in this event set in 2024 by Timothy Barbeau. A time of 8:06.73. Aiden Kirk tonight. He's our top seed in this event for the UBC Thunderbirds. 8:05.03 is his entry time. Winner of the 1,500-meter freestyle last night was Kirk. Coming up tonight in this event is part of our top 10 seeded swimmers. And Venditti looking good in lane number 6. He's going through 3:06.77. Just a little bit faster than that entry time of 8:33, pretty close in lanes number 1, 3, and 4. And 0.2 of a second of each other. Halfway point now for your race leader in lane number 6, Marcus Venditti. He's lapping pretty consistent, 4:11.50 at the 400-meter mark. And still just 15/100ths of a second separating these next 3 swimmers. Mehmet Deniz Capraz, he turned next at 4:14.43. 4:14.53 was the split time by Diego Paz, and 4:14.58 Noah Weaver. We'll look to see if one of these 3 tries to make a break. Have a bit of a ways to go to get up to Venditti in lane number 6, still lapping a few tenths of a second faster than the rest of the field on each of these 50s. Right now, this pacing is putting him down close to 8:30. As he comes at the 500-meter mark, Venditti in lane number 6 is 4:11.5 at the 400, 5:16.2. So 1:04.7 on that 5th 100, Venditti. And Diego Paz trying to break the rest of the field, sitting in 2nd. Managed to gain 0.4 on that last 50. Marcus Venditti now 3/4 of the way through this race as he turns at the 600, 621.2. Paz is next. 624.59, 2/10 of a second up on Weaver in lane number 3. Marcus Venditti doing a good job on this one. He's led right from the gun as he goes through the 650-meter mark, hitting another 32 mid-split. Coming now to the 700, the bells are going to start ringing for our race leaders. And getting 100 meters left to go in this race. And there we go for Venditti, turning now to 700, 726.3. The 103.6 were better on this last 100 to crack the 830 mark. And we'll see who's got left in the tank. Diego Paz still sitting in second, not by much. In lane number 1, Weaver is right there. They're within 1/10 of a second of each other. Here we go, last wall for Venditti in lane number 6. Turning at 7:58.7, 31.2 is what he needs on this last 50. We'll see if he's got any legs left to bring it home under 8:30. Regardless, he's going to go a best time. His entry time is an 8:33.50, so it's going to be a good drop for 16-year-old swimmer from Point Claire, Marcus Venditti. And look at this finish out of lane number 3. Noah Weaver from Island Swimming, absolutely crushing it here at the end of the race. It's going to go to Weaver, 8:28.90. A big finish to win heat number 2 of the 800-meter freestyle. And for Weaver, a 4-second personal best. Winning heat number 2. So we're just going to relax. We're just going to have a short technical delay here as we change out one of our touch pads. See our crew, much like a Formula One pit crew, in and out, everyone knowing their positions. There we go with the touchpad exchange. That's an actual meet record of 37.8 seconds for that crew. As we move on to heat number 3 of the women's 800-meter freestyle.
And heat 3 of the women's 800-meter freestyle is off in lane 1 from the Halifax Trojan Aquatic Club, Etta McClellan. In lane 2 from the Cobra Swim Club, Amelia Perron. In lane 3 from the Vancouver Pacific Swim Club, Maya Molyneux. In lane 4 from the Barrie Trojan Swim Club, Marissa Batrick. Dans le couloir 5 de Pointe-Claire, Michael Pomerleau. In lane 6 from the Thunder Bay Thunderbolts, Abby Brown. In lane 7 from the Kelowna Aquajets, Olivia Golanowski. Et dans le couloir 8 de Pointe-Claire, Sophie Auger. It's a tight race after the first 50, all of the swimmers within a second of each other. We have 8 girls in this heat. So far, leading the pack is in lane 1, Etta McClellan. With 13 laps to go, it's still the 2 outside ladies leading the pack. Etta McClellan in lane 1 and Sophie Auger in lane 8 are both in the 1:40 mark, holding first and second after 150 meters. Coming up on the first 200 meters, all the swimmers still looking strong. Lane 5 from Pointe-Claire, Michael Pomerleau making a bit of a move, trying to catch up to these top 2 girls on the outside. 3 girls finishing the first 200 in 2:15. Michael Pomerleau has moved up into second and is challenging for first now after the first, as we approach the end of the first 300 meters. Etta McClellan still in the lead, flipping at 3:25.90. Still splitting 35 low, 34 highs. Very consistent across the board for all the ladies in the pool. Top 3 girls within a second of each other. This is shaping into a great race between Etta McClellan, Michaela Pomerleau, and Sophie Auger. Lane 5 and lane 8, both from Pointe-Claire. These girls must be training and racing together all the time. A little bit of a home meet feel for these 2 as they breathe towards each other and see their teammate / competitor in the lane near them. At the halfway mark here, Etta McClellan still in the lead, 4:37.16. Followed by Michael Pomerleau, 4:37.89, and Sophie Auger, 4:38.87. entry time for Etta McClellan, 9:30.46, on pace to be quite under that time. She's probably hoping to get as close to the 9-minute mark here as possible. After 500 meters, 5:48.09, still hitting those 35 low 50 splits. Michaela Pomerleau sitting in second, 5:49.02. And Sophie Auger back down to the 35 lows in a 5:50.48. Will be interesting to see what these girls have left in the tank here as they approach the last 200 meters. This is a time final event. There's no saving up for finals. There's no waiting. This is their race. This is what they came here this morning to do. Etta McClellan has led the whole race. And she's not going to want to let these girls catch her right at the end. As they get to the last 200 meters, at the 600-meter mark, Etta McClellan just under 7 minutes, 6:59.45. Followed closely by Michaela Pomerleau, 7:00.87. Sophie Auger still in third, 7:03.66. Top two girls bringing in the legs a little bit more, trying to get that stroke rate up as they get to the last 150. 3 laps to go. Etta McClellan, 7:35.24. As we saw in the last few of the men's 800 free, what you have left in the tank in this last 100 can definitely make a difference. People can come from behind, have a good last 50, so really it's all up for grabs here for all of the girls in the pool. Bell lap indicating last 100 meters, 2 laps to go for Etta McClellan. 8:10.75. Last lap here, 50 meters to go. Etta McClellan flips. Still in the 35s, still lapping 35s. It's been really consistent throughout this whole race. 8:46.35. Teammates cheering her on here for her last 25 meters. Michaela Pomerleau doing her best to catch her. Last 5 meters, it'll be Ella McClellan in a time of 9:20.78. Almost 10 seconds under her entry time.
Next up is going to be heat number 3 of our men's 800-meter freestyle. It's the referee. Next 800 freestyle for the men is in the water, swimming in lane 0, Nolan Greenwood from Pacific Coast. Lane number 1, Aiden Lee from Crest Swimming. Lane number 2 is Luke Hazelton in Etobicoke. Lane number 3, Tucker Bueller, Olympians. Lane number 4, Joshua Perkins, Pacific Seawolves. Lane 5, Austin Heinbuck, Club Warriors. Lane 6 is Nicholas Purdy from Gatineau. Lane number 7, Max Parmar from Kelowna Aquajets. Lane 8, Connor Brown, Club Warriors. And lane number 9, Nicholas Chukwinsky from Etobicoke Swim Club. Lee out to a fast first 100 at 58.46. Farmer swimming in lane number 7. He was 6th overall in the 1500 meter freestyle last night with a big drop. And Lee out 130.0 at the 150 meter mark. Way out in front of the field by 3 seconds. The rest of the field bunched pretty close together as they come to the 200 meter mark. Lee's got a seat time at 8:41.0. Goes around the 200 at 2:01.81. Next closest to him is lane number 0, Nolan Greenwood. 4 seconds back at 2:05.80, and then the rest of the field all within 2 seconds of each other. So 8:28.90 stands as our fastest time done so far this morning. Noah Weaver from Island Swimming did that in heat number 2. Right now at the 250 meter mark is pacing to get down and challenge that time. See where he is as he comes through to the 300. Aiden Lee, Crest Swimming leading the way. Pretty consistent in his lapping times. 32.2 on the last 50, 3:06.17. And it is lanes 0, 5, 6, and 9 for our next 3 swimmers, just slightly ahead of the rest of the pack. We're working our way to the halfway point as the swimmers get ready to come back and come to the 400 meter mark. He's pacing just creeping up ever so slightly, 32.7 on that last 50. Number 6, Nicholas Purdy, almost matching that, 32.8. He's in second place for Gatineau, swimming in lane number 6. It's going to be the 400 now at this wall for Lee, a race leader in lane number 1. 2:01 on the first 100, 2:09 here on the second 200. 4:11.6 is his split time, so he's right where they were, race leaders were in our previous heat. Pacing right now to be just over 8:30.
still having a great go at this one as he comes through the 500. Still in front, but nearly 10 meters. Making a move now in lane number 7. That's the Kelowna Aquajet's Max Parmar. As you mentioned, did a good job in the 1500 the other day. Parmar's coming in with a C time this morning in the 800-meter freestyle. Time of 8:40.89, so he's just a couple tenths. Actually seated ahead of Lee, but Lee with a big lead through the 500 meters. So Parmar is 5 seconds back. He's been gaining 4/10 of 50 over the last couple 50s. Gained 7/10 of a second there, down to 32.5. He's going to need to pick up the pace a little bit more if he's going to get up to Aiden Lee. Doesn't need much more by each 50, but just a little bit. He might get close at the end of this race as Lee goes through the 600. 6:34 split for 6:28 split, sorry, for Parmar. 4 seconds back at 32.750. Still gaining a half second on every length. Starting to see Lee now go to the legs as he comes up to the 650-meter mark. Parmar's got his work cut out for him if he wants to get up to the race leader as he turns at 6:57.2. Parmar 3.5 seconds back at 7:01.5. Here come the bells for Lee in lane number 1. 100 meters left to go as he turns at the 700-meter mark, 7:30.5. Parmar kicking it into overdrive in the lane number 7. He turns at 7:34.1. Stavinsky from Etobicoke swimming in lane number 9, having a good go here at the last 75. He's really picked up his pace. Stavinsky entered in a time, a short course qualifying time, 8:13. As Lee takes the last turn, 8:03.93. Parmar gained almost a second on that last 50. Might just run out of room here at the end of this race in heat number 3 of the 800 freestyle for the men, but we're going to see some good drops for these swimmers. Aiden Lee coming in at 8:41, Parmar at 8:40.8. And the best time for Lee down to 8:36.1 to take this heat. Good drop for Parmar as well at 8:37.8 in lane number 7. Next up will be heat number 4 of the women.
This is our fourth and final heat this morning of the women's 800 freestyle. In lane 3 from Point Claire, Bianca Bacchus. In lane 4 from the St. John Legends Swim Club, Anna Rideout. And in lane 6 from the Nepean Kanata Barracudas, Catherine Sullivan. Bacchus in the lead after the first 100 in a time of 1:05.91. Followed closely by Catherine Sullivan in a 1:06.36 and Anna Rideout 1:06.98. After 200 meters, Bacchus flipping in 2:16.35, followed by Sullivan 2:17.90 and Rideout 2:19.43. Bacchus looking strong heading into the 300-meter mark. About a body length and ahead of her competitors. As she flips 3:28.11. All swimmers splitting about 36 per 50 now. Swimmers getting encouragement from their coaches as they can see them on the side of the pool deck as they breathe on that side. After the halfway mark, Bianca Bacchus 4:40.77, followed by Catherine Sullivan 4:43.26 and Anna Rideout 4:46.36. At the 500-meter mark, Bacchus still leading, 5:53.41. Bacchus only 14 years old from Pointe Claire. Showing good consistency in her splitting here, still at a 36 low per 50. They approach the last 200-meter mark, all three swimmers getting in, cheered on by their coaches. Bacchus will flip first, 7:06.04. Sullivan 7:09.48. And Rideout 7:17.23. Sullivan bringing in the legs a little bit, bringing up that stroke rate for these last 200 meters. Rideout making a little bit of a move. You can tell the stroke rate's gone up as well. Let's see if either of these two girls can catch Bianca Bacchus, who's been so consistent throughout this whole entire 800. 36 lows across the board. Splitting a 7:42.43 at her 6:50 mark. About 4 seconds ahead of Sullivan. As they approach the bell lap, this is the last 100 of this 800 free. Bacchus 8:18.84. Sullivan 8:23.76. Anything can change here on this last 50 depending on who has what in the tank, but Bianca Bacchus has been so solid, splitting consistently throughout this whole entire 800 free. Let's see if she can get the stroke rate up and the legs in a little bit more in this last 25. Coach is trying to signal to their swimmers to kick a little bit more, but I think Bianca Bacchus, last 5 meters coming in, this is her race. She will touch the wall in a time of 9:30.44. Big drop from her entry time. Second place, Catherine Sullivan, 9:34.95. Just a reminder that all of these times will be compared to the times that are done by the women in the final tonight, and everybody will be ranked accordingly. Moving on to our final heat of the men's 800-meter freestyle. Mr. Referee. This is the final heat of our prelim session, the men's 800-meter freestyle. In lane 2, from the Fender Bay Fender boats, William Rose Weston. Dans le couloir 3 de natation, Gatineau Xavier Lavoie. Dans le couloir 4 de Pointe-Claire, Evan Cleary. In lane 5, from Kisu Swim Club, Charlie Bourne. Dans le couloir 6 de Neptune Natation, Cédric Goulet. And in lane 7, from the Pacific Sea Wolves, Max Wu. Everyone in the 29s here on this first 50, Cédric Goulet out first from Neptune Natation. But a really tight bunch across the pool here coming into the first 100 meters. Cédric Goulet toujours en avance après le premier 100 mètres, 1:12, suivi de proche de Charlie Bourne en 1:20. Moins de 1 seconde sépare tous les nageurs après le premier 100 mètres. Less than a second and a half is still less than a second and a half separating all these swimmers. Really, really tight race heading into the first 200 meters. Cédric Goulet prend la charge, 1:33:62. Depuis le début, c'est lui qui est le premier dans la course et il continue à se démarquer. .200 meters in, Cédric Goulet toujours premier. Evan Cleary moves up into second place with a 2:07:19, less than 5/100ths of a second ahead of Charlie Bourne. And still only about a second and a half separating all of these men. Cédric Goulet commence à prendre de l'avance à 250 mètres, 2:39:13. En tête de course, il fait son virage de 300 mètres en 3:12:04. Environ 1 seconde et demie devant tout le reste des nageurs. Evan Cleary of Pointe-Claire in second. 2 Quebec boys running first and second. Evan Cleary after 300 meters, 3:13:45. At about the halfway mark, Cédric Goulet is running in first by about a body length, but it's a really tight race between second, third, fourth, and fifth. Flipping all within a second of each other. Third and fourth by only 2/100ths. At the halfway mark, Cédric Goulet, 8:18:29. Environ 2 secondes d'avance sur le reste des nageurs. Second, third, fourth, and fifth, all within a second of each other, all in the 4:54s at this 450-meter mark, really dead even. William Rose Weston leading a bit of a charge here at the 500-meter mark, 5:27.77. About half a body length ahead of these other guys that less than 100 meters ago he was dead even with. Really making a move in this second 400 meters. Different strategies for the 800. Some will want to go out faster and get a lead, discourage their competitions. Others want to sit back, save their energy, and make their move in the second 400. Cédric Goulet running first in this race since the beginning, 5:57.34. Still splitting under 33 here per 50 at the 550-meter mark. Less than 10 meters to go before hitting the last 200. This is where all the guys who have been saving up a little bit will really turn on the gas, and these four boys that have been running together, things might shift a little bit. Cédric Goulet, 6:30.99 après 600 mètres. 2 corps devant le reste des compétiteurs. Charlie Bourne running in second, 6:34.50, followed closely behind by William Rose Weston, 6:34.72. Swimmers splitting faster almost across the board this 50 compared to the last. They're all making moves here. Some trying to negative split that 800, some trying to differentiate themselves from the competitors. Cédric Goulet toujours en tête de course, 7:04.05. And that's the bell lap, last 100 meters. Cédric Goulet, 7:37.55. Charlie Bourne will be doing what he can to reel him in, 7:40.55. And William Rose Weston still trying to make a move, 7:41.18. Last 50 meters here, Cédric Goulet. 8:09.76. Un temps de passage plus vite pour ce 50 que celle d'avant. Va-t-il être capable de le faire encore pour ce dernier 50? Presque 2 corps devant le reste de ses compétiteurs. Il se démarque vraiment. On voit plus de kick, plus de stroke rate. Les derniers 5 mètres, ça va être sa course. Charlie Bourne en deuxième. Cédric Goulet, 8:41.28 pour gagner cette série. Really tight race throughout between all of these swimmers.
Thank you very much to all of our volunteers and officials. That was our last race of the session. We'll be back for day 2 of finals, a 3:30 warm-up here at the 2026 Speedo Canadian Swimming Open.
Swimming Canada would like to thank our partners. Natation Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. The Government of Canada, le gouvernement du Canada. Speedo, your trusted swim partner from your first splash through every stroke. Speedo, votre partenaire de natation de confiance, de votre premier saut dans l'eau à chaque traction. Bell for better and all the ways it gives back to communities and sport across Canada. Mieux pour tous et toutes les façons dont Bell redonne aux communautés et au sport dans tout le Canada. Chicken Farmers of Canada, proud supporter and official protein of Swimming Canada. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers partisans et protéines officielles de Natation Canada.